Hey everybody, Jay here with another multicast tech tip. Today we're talking about something near and dear to my heart, Cisco DevNet. We just wrapped up another DevNet bootcamp here in the Midwest. It was a ton of fun. We talk to customers all the time about DevNet, and the number one question that comes up is, what is DevNet there for? Like, what all is on there? And there's a ton of resources, but today I really just want to hone in on my top three. So number one is definitely the learning tracks. And the first one I always point out to folks is the introduction to DevNet. You know, this is a crawl, walk, run type deal, right? So the intro to DevNet is definitely the crawl section. This is intro to Python, intro to parsing JSON, working with REST APIs for the first time. If you're a network engineer and you know nothing or little about development, this is a great place to start. Then once you get through that track, you can come up here and walk through one of the other tracks for a specific Cisco product like DNA Center or iOS XE or Meraki. Then you can actually see those real world examples of how to build scripts that'll interact with the real world applications in your business. The second section I love to talk about within DevNet is the code exchange. Now this is a mixture of Cisco submitted and user submitted scripts. These are repositories on GitHub that you can pull down or oftentimes even contribute to. To give you a couple examples of some of them that are out there right now that are really popular. There's an SDK for WebEx Teams. It makes it all the easier for you to interact with WebEx Teams in your scripts. Instead of having to build out those API calls yourself, you can run this SDK and make it even easier on yourself. There's also scripts that are really already built for you that you can just kind of customize a little bit and ingest and use. This one here is user submitted, Python Cisco backup. It's exactly what it sounds like. You plug in credentials and IP address, it'll go pull down a config backup from that Cisco device. Just one really easy example of how scripts can help empower you and make your job a little bit easier. The last thing I love to talk about on DevNet is the sandboxes. Now this is probably, in my opinion, the coolest feature of DevNet. We have all these sandboxes out there of Cisco applications. Some of them are always on and accessible from the internet. You can go make calls to them right now if you have the credentials. Some of them are reservable. So that's a private sandbox that'll get stood up for a few hours and you can go tinker in. This is a great opportunity for you to get experience working with APIs with real Cisco applications without having to tinker in your own production environment. So the next question that usually comes up around DevNet is, what am I going to build these scripts for? What am I going to do with this, right? The sky's the limit. I won't even go into all the different possible opportunities out there, but a really good example that I just built up today is an inventory script. So think of this scenario. How often does your manager come in and go, hey, I need a list of all the models and serial numbers of all the network hardware we got, right? Now, if you're going to go build that list out right now, how are you going to do that? You're probably going to have to log into a few different orchestration planes, right? If you got DNA Center, there's one source of info, but some other stuff's managed under ACI or Meraki or wherever. You could use a script to go pull API requests from all those different applications and get all that information into one place. Now, this particular one is using a Meraki sandbox and the DNA Center sandbox. These are both always on sandboxes that are on the Cisco DevNet site. So let's run this script real quick. And there you go. In 3 seconds, I pulled down all the serial numbers and models of the Meraki devices in my Meraki dashboard, and all the serials and models of all the devices in my DNA Center sandbox. That's just the tip of the iceberg, right? This is a super easy script. This is under 50 lines. And honestly, I hobbled it together. It was really, really easy to get set up. For the most part, I used code right out of Postman. So it was less than 30 minutes time to get this very basic script up and going. But hopefully that's a good example of what you can do with Cisco DevNet, and I hope you go check it out. The website is developer.cisco.com. We'll see you next time.